Let's talk about something that doesn't get mentioned very often. A lot of people are consuming all sorts of spiritual content: books, podcasts, retreats, psychedelic experiences, breathwork sessions, wellness apps. And yet their life doesn't fundamentally change. I know this because I lived it. There were periods in my life where I was deeply inspired. I would read something powerful, listen to someone's technique or a new way of approaching consciousness. I'd have these breakthrough experiences that would suddenly open my perspective, or walk away from a ceremony feeling clear, expanded, like I understood the secrets of the universe. And for a few days, sometimes a few weeks or more, I felt different, more aware, more connected, more motivated, but then life would settle back in. Old patterns would return, old reactions would resurface. My baseline would quietly reset. Does that sound familiar to anyone? It wasn't that the experiences weren't real. They of course were. And it wasn't that the teachers were wrong. They weren't. It was that I was really not bringing those insights into my day-to-day life. Most spiritual work focuses on insight, not integration. Insight feels powerful. It feels like change, but knowledge without practice is just philosophy. Your identity is not built from peak moments. It's built from what you keep repeating. You can understand presence intellectually. You can understand awareness conceptually. You can even touch these deep states of consciousness. But if your daily patterns don't change, your life doesn't change. Because most real change doesn't happen in retreat spaces. It happens in the mundane parts of life. Your normal day, your reactions, your conversations, your habits. The turning point for me wasn't another peak experience. It was realizing that change only becomes real when it becomes repeatable. And that real change happens through this daily contact. Small shifts, things that are repeated consistently, start changing how your mind reacts, how your nervous system responds. Over time, that baseline begins to change. How you respond, how you think, how you move through life. For me, all that started to happen and come together when I built a daily structure. Simple practices that brought me back into contact with myself. Breath, mindfulness, meditation, and something that I call daily vision writing. Every morning I would sit down, check in with myself. I'd write through what I was learning, write through the changes, the things I was moving through, and I would write from the perspective of the person I am becoming. Over time, those reflections started to realign how I was living. My attention changed. My decisions changed. My baseline slowly began to shift. So let me ask you something. Do you have something you return to every day that actually shifts your baseline? Most people are chasing big realizations, moments of clarity, emotional breakthroughs, but your actual identity isn't built from those moments. It's built from what you repeat. When I stopped chasing experiences, I started building daily structure, and that's when everything shifted for me. Not overnight, but steadily. My baseline consciousness kept rising. My reactions changed, my clarity deepened. And it wasn't because I found a new teaching. It was because I finally had that underlying structure. Spiritual work that creates real change has 3 qualities. First, it's something you can repeat. You can return to it every single day. Second, it's always grounded. Not just insight, something you actually practice. And third, it compounds over time. These small shifts repeated consistently, they slowly raise your baseline consciousness. Each piece stacks on top of one another, which rewires your brain and your nervous system to help come back into harmony. Without that, you're just collecting experiences. With that, you're building a new higher baseline consciousness where everything you do starts to change and you feel more alive. In the next video, I'll break down exactly what creates that kind of change and how to begin building it into your day in a very simple, practical way that'll make sense to you.